May 9th, 2012. Craig Sulk captured a picture of what some believe to be a Sasquatch on his trail cameras. The team from Finding Bigfoot even came out to investigate the Sulk property after Craig sent them a copy of the photo.
If it's not a Bigfoot, what is it?
Since being featured on Finding Bigfoot, Craig has continued to collect evidence of the hairy man on his property. He has opened the Hyden Adventure for people to come and hear his stories and share his evidence.
What we've set up here is come, this is what the experts have told us, and a person can decide for themselves.
Cryptids, Anomalies, and the Paranormal Society was given special permission to conduct research at the Hyden Adventure. Since Memorial Day 2020, the team has been hard at work with trail cameras, drones, thermal imagers, audio recorders, and more to gather as much data on what's really lurking in the woods of Upper Michigan. Join the team as we search. This is Finding Hyden.
Here at the Hyden Adventure, we have had a lot of activity since 2012 that is Bigfoot related. But what it comes down to is the original photo of the game camera from 2012. All right.
I can work with that, yep.
Okay.
Then can we just say, from where you're looking,
Okay.
this is the exact size of and location it would have been in that picture. And then I'll cut to where we were up there talking about. Does that make sense?
Okay. Now, that is the 5-foot version. But and then you can say Cliff says it's 6 foot, so we can
Yep.
you can figure that out.
Exactly.
So how tall is Hyden? After every investigation, Cliff Barrickman writes a report on his website, cliffbarrickman.com. This is the report that goes along with the official picture that Craig submitted. On his website, Cliff says, on-site measurements put the figure at 35 to 40 yards away from the camera. The comparison photographs we took of Bobo give us a very rough estimate of the height of the figure, which we roughly determined to be about 6 feet. I believe that Bobo was standing a bit closer to the camera than the figure was, but even with the discrepancy, the figure wouldn't be anywhere near the size of an adult male Sasquatch. Since the figure stood at a height that is well within human range, we are not able to definitively say that Craig's photograph shows a Sasquatch. However, complicating the lives of Bigfooters like myself is the fact that not all Bigfoots are huge. In fact, it is my belief that female Sasquatches tend to be 6 to 7 foot range on average, which would make them exactly the size of the figure in Craig's picture. Complicating things even more is that every 8 foot tall Sasquatch at one point in life is 6 foot tall. While it is not certain that Craig captured a photograph of Sasquatch on his trail camera, it is entirely possible. So just how big is Hyden? The CAPS team sets out to find out. First, we took Craig back out to the original location to get things all lined up so we had everything as close as possible.
Okay.
Now this is the tree I said it was on.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so where's the deer stump?
Right there. So if you set up here, that'll line up with that tree. This is the tree to always look for. This squiggly tree.
Okay.
See, you can barely see it here. So this is the right stump.
This is this stump.
No, this is what the camera was hanging
Where's
on.
this stump?
Right here. This is where Bobo was in the recreation. that you see on TV. Now if you follow me, if you stand right here, take one more, and turn around, you can see the camera back there.
Yes.
It should be a little to the left, okay? This is where me and Cliff tried to put Bobo, and she wasn't having it. The creature has to be behind the birch. Maybe he's here. Maybe he's there. Either way, he had to be behind the birch because the birch is perfect, is clearly visible in the picture. So in that way, that recreation was incorrect.
In order to get a more exact height of Hyden, we have created an 8-foot tall tape measure that can easily be seen from several hundred feet away. The black spaces on the bar are 0 to 6 inches, while the white spaces are 6 inches to 1 foot. This will give us an accurate measurement up to about 3 inches, hopefully. The tree the trail camera was originally attached to had been knocked over, so I placed the tripod over what was left of the stump and framed the camera as best I could to recreate the original photo.
Grab the tape measure, and there's a big tree right to your right. Stand it up next to that once. Back up about a foot. Move it to my left.
Then it'll be on that platform.
What?
Then it's on the platform. And there's a
Well, that's good then. That's what I want.
there's a branch in the way. Pooh.
Right there, hold it there.
Now that I had some photos for reference, it was time to get to work on laying them out so that I could tell how big Hyden really was. Here you can see the original photo of Hyden taken with the trail cam back in 2012. Right here in the center is the creature that we call Hyden. Here is the current photo that we took. We established this to be the actual location of the picture based on this spot in the tree. You will notice as I overlay the other original image over the top of this that crook of the tree stays the same.
What have we learned? Anything yet? 4'6".
About, yeah.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
You've known that all along. Stand up. 5.5 feet.
Haven't got the stand up yet. Need more time to work on that, but yep. Based on everything I can figure out, putting it out there and stuff, it's
Back
probably,
where it
yeah.
should be.
Yeah, I would say it's got to be between 4 and 5 feet. Because obviously you don't know where it actually is.
This is my theory. Is that on? Theory, which is fact when it comes to me. Not a hypothesis, the truth. The one that screws with us, the one, I think that it's a rite of passage is what they do. They send them out there to screw with us and then they laugh. But that's not important. So it's a 5-footer, and when I go through my little show with everybody and I end up with Cliff Rockman thinks it's really 6 foot tall. All this time, I've not been lying because Cliff Rockman thinks it's 6 foot tall.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's 4'6".
It is definitely 100% farther back than you have it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so that's clear. Well, as far as I'm concerned.
Mm-hmm. It can't be a human. There is no other answer. Even at 4'6" kneeling, yes, it's within human proportion. But you ain't gonna find. You've been back there. Have you run into anybody yet?
Every day, this really tall guy comes out there.
He's a moron.
So what happens if he stands up?
Well, I would say you're gonna add about a foot.
Okay.
Based on how tall this is and looking at like his leg and stuff. Like his leg is about that tall.
Mm-hmm.
So
Well, how tall
that's
is your
about a
cutout
foot.
back there of you? Is that
4'6".
Oh, okay. And then
Out on
but
with all of
from
them.
that to where you stand up, you're 6'3".
Yeah,
So,
but we have different lengths,
Yeah. Yep.
that's what I mean.
and they
The
should be
lower
shorter.
leg bone should be shorter.
Being kneeling, so still 5 something in the 5.
Well, if you
5,
figure,
6.
you know, like I just said, his leg is bent. So you take the one that's standing up is his bottom of his leg, and then the kneeling is the top of his leg, and you stack them on top of each other, and that's going to give you how tall he is.
So, how do we figure out how tall Hyden actually is? We assume that he is 4'6" in a kneeling position as he appears in the photo, based on the fact that his head rests here, and when you overlay that with the measurable image, it comes out at between 4'6" and 5 foot tall. So with that gauge in place, what we are going to do is draw a line down Hyden for his head to his lower body. Then we are going to draw a line from his leg, his knee, to the base of the ground. Lining that line up with the bottom of his knee, or the top of the knee, I'm sorry, and the ground, we draw this line to approximate where his knee to the ground is. Now, we take that image and we are going to rotate it 90 degrees, a little bit farther here, and move it over to about his tailbone. And then we are going to extend this line again from the middle of his hip here out to the knee where we measured from for the base of the leg. So that should give us approximately how long that section of leg is. Again, this is all an approximation, just to give us an idea. Now when we rotate this line back to a vertical, we can line that back up where approximately his foot is, and you can now see where the top of his head would be if he were to stand up. Now, when we overlay the original picture back below it, you can see that it is roughly 6 feet tall. On September 6th, we were back at it again. Only this time, the trail camera photo was only 2 weeks old. Maybe we're getting a little ahead of ourselves. Let's back up to when this actually started.
I want to see if I can set it for 5 minutes maybe instead of 1 minute.
Okay, but what if it gets through?
What do you mean?
What if it gets through
Yeah,
and
5
doesn't
minutes?
change anything?
Yeah, you still won't see it.
Okay,
In 5 minutes it doesn't take its picture, you're saying?
Yeah.
If it walks through in that 5 minutes?
Yeah.
Well, it's no better than your cameras. Because if no, I'm saying if your camera
Mom?
only pictures,
have you ever been slapped up?
if
I
your
tried,
camera
you
is only
slapped
taking
back.
motion and this thing is outside of the range of its motion,
Yep.
like if your camera's here and that thing is, you know, way down there at the edge, you're never going to get it on motion. But if I'm just taking a picture, I have a better chance of randomly catching it walking through than trying to wait for it to come close enough to trigger something. That's my goal with just taking pictures. See what I mean?
Oh, it doesn't need to trigger it.
Yeah.
Oh,
I do
just
not
close.
need a trigger. It will just
Right.
take a picture every so many minutes. I know it can do it every minute.
Why don't you have a solar panel on it? I think your batteries will die before
That's a possibility too.
it'll take whatever it needs, 7,000, whatever, before it fills it. And you're gonna look through 7,000 pictures. I've done it,
Yeah.
you know, but it ain't even fun.
Well, when you click through it, you should see
You see something
you
different.
should see the exact same picture based on leaves moving,
Mhm.
and that's it. I mean, the grass will get taller, the trees will wiggle, but that's it. Everything should be the exact same unless something isn't, and that thing will stand out.
And stand out it did. Keep your eyes in this area. See if you can see it. Did you notice it in the sequence of 8 photos? If not, here's a closer look. And if that still doesn't help, let's try and outline it. So, how do we figure out how tall our new Sasquatch is? First, we need to figure out where this Sasquatch is in real life. So to do that, we took a daytime photo of the exact same trail camera taken earlier that day and overlaid it on top of the night vision picture. So now we know roughly where the creature was. Now that we have that lined up, all we have to do is put Craig in that spot and get a rough estimate of the height of the creature.
Okay, Craig, see this little tree all by itself out in front there? And then look straight back through that hole. You'll see another tree. Yep, right there. You're right in between them. Stop. Back up. There. Stay there. Now go back. In there?
You need to come around and come out.
Should wear pants with the thicker bushes.
No.
It's hard to tell if it's in front of or behind that little tree that you got right here. Yeah, it's hard to tell where that is at night.
Once we got Craig lined up where we wanted, we triggered the trail camera that was originally used to take the picture to get a comparison of Craig. Now that we have our photo of Craig, and we have lined up all 3 photos, all we have to do is draw an outline around the creature in the photo, and then overlay that on top of our photo of Craig. As you can see, whatever is in the photo is roughly the same size as Craig, making this creature, as well as Hidin, roughly 6 foot tall. I know what you're thinking. If this thing is the same size as Craig, why isn't it Craig in the picture? Well, because we know for a fact that Craig was at base camp when the photo was taken. Could this be the same creature that was photographed on the property 8 years earlier? Only time will tell, and the only way that we're going to find out is on to the next experiment.
Yeah, I would at least.
But it's still so standing you have a short 5.5, 5'6" Squatch.
It's about as big
But-
as me. I'm 5'7".
Really?
Yeah.
You know, you always seem like a giant to me because I worship you so.
I know.
He'll be putting that shit on there, no doubt.
Yeah.